Good morning. We have finished Matilda. Yay. So that means that we are starting a new book. I have decided that we're going to be reading Enchanted, which I think is a fabulous story. If you're someone who's thinking, I don't like Enchanted, stop it, because it's actually a really fabulous story. It's not for girls, it's for everyone. So, it's really great. So there's magic, it's fantasy. I think you're really gonna like it. The only thing is, you know from experience that when I start a new book, sometimes it takes me a little bit to get used to the new author's style of writing. So I might make a little bit more mistakes than I normally do. That's all right. I'm just getting used to the author's style. So that hopefully will get better in the next few days. So, Enchanted. And this also, just like Chronicles of Narnia and Matilda, it is in British English, so I might have to switch some things or explain some things, but it seemed like we did fine last time. So, Chapter 1. But this is Enchanted, and it's by Gail Levine. That fool of a fairy Lucinda did not intend to lay a curse on me. She meant to bestow a gift. When I cried inconsolably through my first hour of life, my tears were her inspiration. Shaking her head sympathetically at Mother, a fairy touched my nose. My gift is the gift of obedience. Ella will be obedient. Now, stop crying, child. I stopped. Father was away on a trading expedition as usual, but our cook, Mandy, was there. She and Mother were horrified, but no matter how they explained it to Lucinda, they couldn't make her understand the terrible thing she had done to me. I could picture the argument, Mandy's freckles standing out sharper than usual, her frizzy gray hair in disarray, and her double chin shaking with anger. Mother, still and intense, her brown curls damp from labor, her laughter gone from her eyes. I can't imagine Lucinda. I don't know what she looked like. She wouldn't undo the curse. My first awareness of it came on my 5th birthday. I seem to remember that day perfectly, perhaps because Mandy told me the tale so often. For your birthday, she'd start, I bake a beautiful cake, 6 layers. Bertha, our head maid, had sewn a special gown for me, blue as midnight, with a white sash. You were small for your age, even then, and you looked like a china doll, with a white ribbon in your black hair and your cheeks red from excitement. In the middle of the table was a vase filled with flowers that Nathan, our manservant, had picked. We all sat around the table. Father was away again. I was thrilled. I watched Mandy bake the cake and Bertha sew the gown and Nathan pick the flowers. Mandy cut the cake. When she handed my piece, she said without thinking, "Eat." The first bite was delicious. I finished the slice happily. When it was gone, Mandy cut another. That one was harder. When it was gone, no one gave me more, but I knew I had to keep eating. I moved my fork into the cake itself. Ella, what are you doing? Mother asked. Little piggy, Mandy laughed. It's her birthday, lady. Let her have as much she wants. She put another slice on my plate. I felt sick and frightened. Why couldn't I stop eating? Swallowing was a struggle. Each bite weighed on my tongue and felt like a sticky mass of glue as I fought to get it down. I started crying while I ate. Mother realized first. Stop eating, Ella, she commanded. I stopped. Anyone could control me with an order. It had to be a direct command such as put on a shawl or you must go to bed now. A wish or a request had no effect. I was free to ignore, I wish you would put on a shawl, or why don't you go to bed now? But against an order, I was powerless. If someone told me to hop on one foot for a day and a half, I'd have to do it without question. And hopping on one foot wasn't the worst order I could be given. If you commanded me to cut off my own head, I'd have to do it. Oh my gosh. I was in danger at every moment. As I grew older, I learned to delay my obedience, but each moment cost me dear in breathlessness, nausea, dizziness, and other complaints. I could have never held out for that long. Even a few minutes were a desperate struggle. I had a fairy godmother, and Mother asked her to take the curse away. But my fairy godmother said Lucinda was the only one who could remove it. However, she also said it might be broken someday without Lucinda's help. But I couldn't know how. I didn't even know who my fairy godmother was. Instead of making me dogtile, Lucinda's curse made me a rebel of me. Or perhaps I was that way naturally. Mother rarely insisted I do anything. Father knew nothing of the curse and saw me too infrequently to issue many commands. But Mandy was bossy, giving orders almost as often as she drew breath. Kind orders, or for your own good orders, bundle up, Ella, or hold this bowl while I beat the eggs, sweet. I disliked these commands. Harmless as they were, I hold the bowl, but move my feet so that she would have to follow me around the kitchen. She'd call me minx, or try to hem me in with more specific instructions, which I would find new ways to alleviate. Often, it was long business to get anything done between us, with Mother laughing and egging on both of us. We'd end up happily with me finally choosing to do what Mandy wanted, or with Mandy changing her order or to a request. When Mandy would absent-mindedly give me an order I knew that she didn't mean, I'd say, "Do I have to?" And she'd reconsider. When I was 8, I had a friend, Pamela, the daughter of one of the servants. One day, she and I were in the kitchen watching Mandy make marzipan, I think is what it's called. When Mandy sent me to the pantry for a few more almonds, I returned with only 2. She ordered me back to get some more with exact instructions, which I followed exactly, of course, while still managing to frustrate her true wishes. Later, when Pamela and I returned to the garden to devour the candy, she asked why I hadn't done what Mandy wanted straight off. "I hate when she's bossy," I answered. Pamela said smugly, "I always obey my elders." "That's because you don't have to. I have to do it, or Father will slap me." It's not the same for me. I'm under a spell. I enjoy the importance of words. Spells were rare. Lucinda was the only fairy rash enough to cast them on people. Like Sleeping Beauty? Except I won't have to sleep for 100 years. "What's your spell?" I told her. "If anybody gives you an order, you have to obey, including me." I nod. "Can I try it?" Uh-oh, I see this not going very well. No, I hadn't anticipated this. I changed the subject. "I'll race you to the gate." "All right, but I command you to lose the race. Then I don't want to race. I command you to the race, and I command you to lose." We raced, and I lost. We picked berries. I had to give Pamela the sweetest, ripest ones. We played princess and orgs. I had to be the org. An hour after my admission, I punched her, and she screamed and blood squirted out of her nose. Our friendship ended that day. Mother found Pamela's mother a new situation far from our town of Frel. So Frel is their town. After punishing me for using my fist, Mother issued one of her infrequent commands, that I never tell anyone ever about my curse. But I wouldn't have to anyway. I learned from that day that I never wanted to tell anyone about the curse. When I was almost 15, Mother and I caught cold. Mandy dosed us up with her curing soup, made with carrots, leeks, celery, and hair from a unicorn's tail. It was delicious, but we both hated to see the long yellow-white hairs floating around in the vegetables. Since Father was far away from Frel, We drank the soup sitting up in Mother's bed. If he had been home, I wouldn't have been in her room at all. He didn't like me to be anywhere near him. I sipped the soup with the hairs in it because Mandy had to. Because Mandy said I had to, even though I grimaced at the soup and at Mandy's retreating back. I'll wait for mine to cool, Mother said. Then, after Mandy left, she took the hairs out while she ate and put them back in the empty bowl when she was done. The next day I was well, and Mother was much, much worse, too sick to drink or eat anything. She said there was a knife in her throat and a battering ram in her head. To make her feel better, I put cool cloths on her forehead and told her stories. They were only old familiar tales about the fairies that I changed here and there, but sometimes I made Mother laugh, except when the laugh would turn into a cough, and I knew to stop. Almost done with this chapter. Before Mandy sent me off for the night, Mother kissed me. Good night. I love you, my precious. Those were her last words to me. As I left the room, I heard her last words to Mandy. I'm not very sick. Don't send for my husband, please. The next morning, she was awake, but dreaming. With eyes wide open, she chattered to invisible quarters and plucked nervously at her silver necklace. To Mandy and me, there in the room, she said nothing. So she said things just by herself in her mind. She was imagining it. Nathan, the manservant, got the physician, who hurried me away from Mother's side. Our hallway was empty, and I followed it to the spiral stairway and walked down, remembering the times Mother and I had slid down the banister. We didn't do it when people were around. We'd have to be dignified, she would whisper then, stepping down onto the stairs. In an especially stately way, and I would follow, mimicking her, fighting my natural clumsiness, pleased to be a part of her game. But when we were alone, we preferred to slide and yell all the way down, and run back up the other way, and do it for a third and fourth time. When I got to the bottom of the stairs, I pulled our heavy front door open and slipped into the bright sunshine. It was a long walk to the old castle, but I wanted to make a wish, and I wanted to make it in the place where it would have been the best chance of being granted. The castle had been abandoned when King Gerald was a boy, although it was reopened on special occasions for private balls, weddings, and things like that. Even so, Bertha said it was haunted, and Nathan said it was infested with mice. Its gardens were overgrown, but Bertha swore that the candle trees had powers. I went straight to the candle grove, and the candles were small trees that had been pruned and tied to wires to make them grow in the shape of candelabra. I don't know what that is. For wishes you need trading material. I closed my eyes and thought, if Mother gets well quick, I'll be good, not just obedient. I'll try harder not to be clumsy, and I won't tease Mandy so much. I promise. I didn't bargain for Mother's life because I didn't believe that she was in danger of dying. The next chapter is chapter 2. There's no names for the chapter. So I want you to make a prediction and comment under the video of what you think is going to happen to Mother. And do you think that the wishing tree is going to work for her? I don't know. And again, be patient. The next few times can be much easier and smoother for me to read, and I'll be able to get her voice more be my voice. So it's going to be, I actually love this story, so I think it's going to be great. So comment on those things, and have a wonderful day. Mwah.